Hi, this is Vince from Roll for Initiative. I just wanted to give you a heads up before listening to this show. This show is a little bit more adult themed, so it may not be safe or entirely for the workplace or the family. While there's no cursing in it, the themes discussed in the show would be more towards the adult side. So just a heads up. Enjoy the show.
The following announcement has been paid for by Wild Games Productions. The Roll for Initiative podcast. This is
RFI!
mini issue number 7. That sounded too boxing.
works.
I don't know. I'm Vince, and we're back, and I have Mr. Sal.
It is me!
Mr. Sal, that's his name. That name again is Mr. Sal. Like that, huh?
Very original.
Yeah, I know, right? I border on the line of originality.
Very homey.
Yeah. Bordering on the line of originality.
That's right. Cutting edge.
Speaking about lines, and that one line that you take during the game, how about blurred lines during the game? Kind of like, speaking of, and I think you're the one that kind of named this show, Sal, so maybe I'll defer to you how to explain this a little bit better.
Sometimes your players will do things, and they get a little mixed up. Personally, somebody will get mad at me because I did something to the character. Not me, something in the game. A game element, a monster, an NPC. Somebody wronged a character in the game, and they get angry at me. So that person is mad at Sal.
Yeah.
And it wasn't me. I didn't do anything to you on purpose. I didn't, I wasn't going after you. It just happened to be that this is the way something worked out. The dice didn't work for you, something. But they feel slighted. Or
Yeah.
it's even gone to the other edge where sometimes people get a little weird. And I think you got that covered, right?
Well, yeah, there was a couple games that I was in this one group. There was like at least 4 chicks. There was 3 guys. And 2 of the chicks were really... What's that?
That's a party.
Yeah, and the chicks, they weren't bad looking. I mean, 2 of them were married, one of them was single, and they were all pretty much kind of cute. One was really hot, but that's here nor there.
It's a D&D sexy time.
Yeah, so we were playing... I first noticed this when we were playing 3rd edition D&D. It was kind of like... I was playing a character that was all holy and thou, but he wasn't really a paladin. He was more like a cleric type character.
Okay.
And I was playing
pious.
Yeah, I was playing him off like he was pious character, pretty much like that. So it kind of went into the whole thing that her character and my character started sleeping in the same tent together.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then it became
Little adult D&D.
Yeah, and it didn't get too descriptive, but it was just
There was some tension.
yeah, it was close enough that it was kind of whoa, is this chick hitting on me or something? Or and
Okay.
she'd be like, well, okay, so we go to bed, and it's just when I'd be like, I have watch, she'd be like, oh, I join you. It'd be things like that. And I was just all right, I see what you're saying. Cool, all right. It's oh, my character kind of snuggles up against you near the fire while we're watching out in the dark. It's just how am I going to watch if you're snuggling up against me? How is this a watch? And then it became oh, we go to bed. It's yes, you guys. And then she would make the DM make the players roll their constitution checks to see if they had a good night's sleep because our characters caused too much noise in the tent.
Oh.
So it's just
That's, yeah, that's. I mean, you know what? There was a good chance. Was she one of the married ones?
no, she was actually single.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, again, that could be. There could be 1,000 different reasons for that. Sometimes that's the outlet. You know what I mean? I've had players who were boyfriend and girlfriend who played. We hate each other in game characters because that's always seems to be the thing. You either hate their character or everybody's together. That's the worst. You know, you get two people who are either dating. It's usually dating because if you're married, you don't want to play married in game.
No, true.
You want the exact opposite. But if you're dating, usually it's like, oh well, my character likes their character, and I give this character my sword because it has my initials on it, and she can wear it. And, okay, great.
Lame.
So, yeah, those lines tend to get blurred because now she has something he wants, and the other character's like, oh, you know what? Screw it, let's just steal it from her. And he's like, guys, no, let's not steal it. You're the thief, man. You have to steal it.
Yeah,
No, let's just ask her. Like, come on, man. Butch up. Cowboy up.
Get your sack back and let's get it back in the game.
Oh, did we mention this was an adult-themed show this week? I think I might have to put a warning before the show.
Well, but that's the thing, you know. It's people when they have a hard time differentiating between in-game, out-of-game, or that's my biggest pet peeve. If we're playing in a game, and I don't necessarily make people speak in accents or voices or anything like that. I do, however, make my players, if they're going to say something, I make them say it. I don't, I make a speech and I get the crowd up and I'm like, okay, well, what are you going on? What are your lines? What along the lines are you going to say? And I make them say that. When a player will go into the game and they'll talk to another NPC and they'll start dropping F-bombs or, they start using modern language, it bothers me. And I know that's so silly sometimes, but you're killing the immersion for everybody else around you. And maybe your table, that's not how it works. I know people have different settings that they run, and sometimes their table is all about the jokes, or sometimes their table is all about this or that. These are the things that I'd rather keep separate, and I've never really been a hard ass when it comes to, oh, you said it at the table, you say it in game. I don't make people do that. That's a little too much because I'll be the first one throwing jokes out too.
That was how the great Joe DM was.
Well, it depends. Like, if we're all talking and we were just talking about a movie and somebody throws a quote out from the movie, I don't go, oh, well, the bartender looks at you silly because you said it. I know what he was making a comment out of game. So, again, like I said, if that's how you run your table, that's fine, but that is one of my pet peeves that I can't stand when players will do something that just literally blurs the line between in and out of game, and they keep doing it. Like once or twice, I don't care, but if you keep doing it, eventually I'm going to call you on it and say stop, or I'm going to make you pay for it.
Yeah, dropping quotes of movies and stuff is fun and all, but when you start doing it in character, it's kind of like,
right.
How would your character know that?
Well, not even that, but like if it works,
Yeah.
If it works once or twice, I'll laugh and we'll all get a good kick out of it. Somebody throws a hail to the king and you're like, all right, cool. You know what? The 15th time you say it, somebody's going to hear you and be like, oh my God, that guy's pretended to be the king. We should arrest him. So I don't know. That's just one of my pet peeves of, we don't have to talk in character. Like I don't make people do voices if they really don't want to. If they're not comfortable doing it, we don't do it. But I like to keep everything separate. I like to keep in-game separate, out-of-game separate. I also come from a LARPing background, so a lot of people that were friends of mine that we'd play, they'd put their hand on top of their head when they were going to say something out of game, just because they were used to it.
That sounds like, were you playing Vampire?
No, we were playing. Well, I have played Vampire, but we played, basically a fantasy LARP.
Oh, I was gonna say because that's a lot of vampire LARPs I've done, they've done that. They put their hand on their head, and if they just keep it that way for at least like 5 seconds, you knew that they were going to say something out of character.
Right.
But that could have been just local to the game. So.
Well, no, that's that they did the same thing at Lair when we did,
Oh, that's right. You were involved in the one game thing that was in that movie Role Model.
That they stole. That's right.
Yes.
Because Lair was around way before them.
Did you have
Lair was around way before Role Models. Still going on too, man.
that movie was hilarious though.
That movie was hilarious. Big fan. And Knights of Badassdom, another good one.
Oh, that
also
was a great movie too. You're
also
right.
shot in Jersey.
It did have a dumb premise though.
A lot of LARPers in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of LARPers.
Whatever.
But yeah, and as far as that girl, I would, you're married now, so I was gonna say.
No, back then I wasn't married, so.
I know.
I'm
I'm saying now, it's like we don't get that anymore.
Well, it all depends. I mean, I've gotten it while being married too. I mean, it's kind of weird because maybe I don't really know how to explain it because it's like this girl's doing this, she's doing that, and it's just like, whoa, this chick's like, being all sexual. Maybe she's just in that mood to begin with, and maybe nothing against you. I mean, does it fall under the whole slut shaming type thing? I don't know. I really don't know how it falls.
Slut shaming.
Because it's kind of like, she's a woman. Well, she's acting this way. Maybe she shouldn't be because she's a woman type thing. The slut shaming thing type deal.
No, I think, you know what? Personally, I wouldn't bash her for it. Because did she act like that out of game? Was like that her thing? Did she used to just flaunt herself to get what she wanted? Probably not.
No, not really. I mean, she would joke about it with different people.
Yeah.
But it always focused on my characters in the game. To the point, this one girl out there was like, maybe this girl wants to date me or something.
Or maybe that might have been her thing. That was her outlet. That's a possibility. And here's a true story. This is kind of funny. Random playing at a game store.
Random.
Little 13-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Okay, I just to set the scene, had a little bit of a lisp.
Yeah.
Kid was a little chubby, a little smelly, but he was very polite, very nice kid.
Yeah.
At the time, I was 23 or 24, and I just happened to be sitting in. And the kid came in. He was, I guess, about 13, 14 years old. So we were all sitting at the table, and we were playing. And again, very polite. Kid wasn't a jerk. We sat down. We started playing. We get into the game. All of a sudden, this dude busts out, I'm going to tie, once she falls asleep, I'm going to tie her up. And you're like, whoa, wait, what? What is he doing? And, our characters don't know he's doing this, so DM's letting it happen, and the girl that we were escorting, he's tying her up. So we're all asleep, and then he sends the DM a note, and the DM sends him, and he goes, and he shakes his head, and he goes, no, they'll hear that. So now you're like, wait, what? What is he doing? What is he writing?
Yeah, now you have
turns out after the game, the DM explained to us,
the kid wrote exactly what you think he wrote. Now, this little 13-year-old, this was his exposure to getting some. He was a little fat kid with a lisp and smelt, and he probably never had anything anyway. And this is what, this was where he was going with it. Now, that's one of those things that later on he could become a serial killer, but for the most part, the line, okay, you want to do that in game? Sure, but that's going to A, screw up alignments, and B, the other people are going to hear her screaming. And at that point, everybody else at the table is kind of like, whoa, what happened to the nice little kid who was sitting here a couple seconds ago? He was still the nice little kid. His character was just a kind of an evil bastard. So, not knowing him, I don't know if that line was blurred at all, but we hope it was. We have never seen him again, so he's
that's funny too, because when I was playing at the Reaper Gaming Store, just like last summer, maybe
I'm very jealous of, by the way.
Oh well, too bad. Move to Texas, pal. Get out of the Northeast. So we were playing it. It's it's all a bunch of guys. There's a couple girls. We're all like in our 20s. Some people in their late 40s. And it's fine. And there's just one girl who keeps watching us and everything. And she's like really young. She's probably about 15 or 16, maybe 14. I don't know. And she's just like, oh, I want to play. I'm like, have you ever played before? Oh, no, I watched my dad play. And he's downstairs painting. But he said it was okay to play. And I'm just like, all right. And I kind of knew her dad. So I'm just like, all right, maybe he would be cool with it. But maybe he should be here. So we took a break. I went downstairs. I saw him. I was like, hey, your daughter, no names. Just she wants to play in the game. And she's pushing at it. And he's like, oh, that's fine. Yeah. I'm like, well, you realize, I mean, she looks really young and stuff. He's like, well, she's 14. I'm like, well, she's playing with a bunch of people in their 20s to 40s. Is that okay? Oh, that's fine. No big deal. So I'm like, hey, all right. I go, well, some of these guys do drop F-bombs and things like that. And he's like, oh, it's nothing she doesn't effing hear at home.
Nothing I haven't said.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm just like, all right.
You're in Texas. You gotta remember that.
Hey, what are you trying to say about Texas? Anyway, she was probably raised on a farm shooting a gun anyway, so what's the point? So he's just like, yeah, no big deal. He's just, yeah, he goes, here, go buy her some dice, whatever. I was like, all right. Whatever. So we came back up. I told everybody to go get lunch because it was going to take a while to make her a character. She's never really played before. She did a good job making the character like really quickly, which I was surprised at. So I was like, oh, cool. Maybe she really is going to be good. And I don't like playing with people underage because it makes me a little uncomfortable personally. But I had the father's consent, and he was downstairs, and he didn't care. So everyone comes back for their lunch. We're playing this game, and then a couple guys, drop a couple F-bombs, and the whole "oops, sorry," those type situations. And then she drops a couple F-bombs. Everybody laughs. The mood kind of lightens up a little bit. Everybody's happy at gaming. And then some, like, adult situations come up. And I'm just like, no, I don't think we can do that because of who's at the table. That's not right. It's kind of disgusting. And this girl went into describing what she would do to a guy if she found him in the tent like that.
Wow. Okay.
And I looked at her... And everybody was like, all the guys at the table had their jaws down on the table at this point. And she was just like, oh, yeah, I do this, I do that. I'm not going to describe it here, but just you could picture a little girl saying...
You married her, didn't you, Vince?
No. No, I didn't. Disgusting, Sal. Anyway, you maybe...
It's Texas, it's legal, right?
There's quite a few people that are from Texas that listen to this podcast.
I'm just saying, now that's your wife now, your lovely wife.
Now they're going to kick your ass, Sal.
This was 4 years ago, so now it's legal. Just saying.
No. Anyway. So, yeah, she went into this whole rant about what she would do with this and that, and I was just like, whoa, okay. The rest of the game was spent in uncomfortable silences left and right, because no one knew what to say at that point. And
you know what? It's ironic. It's very funny because like the experiences you've had are not the general norm. Normally, it's the guy and the stereotypical. We're gonna play some D&D. Oh my God, a girl's here, and then the girl shows a little bit of attention to one of the guy's characters. Oh, his elf. I'm an elf too, so I like him better than I like the dwarf over there. So I'm gonna sit with him by the fire.
Yeah.
Oh, she's in love with me. And then, that guy's like, why don't you give me your email? We'll talk. We'll talk about our characters. And then he starts getting the crush because you found a girl who's into your hobby.
That may like you.
Yeah, usually it's the guy who blurs the line because, there's a girl into my hobby and there's so few of those. And, it gets to that situation. And then, like I said, you've described like a couple of incidents so far that's been the girl who's been the doing the aggressor, I guess is the best way to put it.
I've
not
sat
that
in
they
groups.
did anything wrong.
I've sat
Those
in
girls
groups where,
haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah, well, I've sat in groups when guys did that too, but that's like, it's just like a common story. It's
that's like the
unusual
norm
to hear girls doing these things, and I've experienced it. And it's just like I want to tell you what I've experienced. So the rest of that game was kind of like uncomfortable silences, people like being overprotective of what they were saying, and this little girl like just blurting out weird shit stuff at this point. And hey, we already got an adult rating on this podcast, so who cares? I'm not gonna drop an F-bomb or anything, but so like, it was just, and then finally the game's over, and she's like, "Oh, I had a great time," and everyone's like, "Yeah, I bet." And and I just remember one of the guys going, "Yeah, I bet," like that, as he was packing up his stuff ready to leave. And so she goes downstairs and, you know, whatever, and then her father comes up and says, "Well, how was the game?" And I'm just like, "Dude, your daughter's whacked."
She's out of her mind.
And I told him what she did, and he was just like, "So?"
Yeah.
I was just like, "Really?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude, you don't have a problem with this? That maybe your daughter's a little too open about things in front of strangers?"
Well, you see, that's the thing. That's a young thing. You know, I think maybe that comes from, when you get older, you realize you have to have your public voice, and then you have your private voice, and then you have your I'm gaming in a store voice, and I'm gaming at home voice. You know?
But this, what bothered me the most is a couple of the guys I knew really well, a couple of them I don't know at all. So how do I know not one of these guys is Jared from Subway sitting in the background waiting? I mean,
see, you don't. You really don't.
I'm topical, and
you are pulse of the nation.
That's right. So I don't know this, and maybe this guy's like, "Hey, now this little girl talks like this in the group. Maybe I can talk to her in email."
What?
You know, and
that's the thing. You got to be aware. And again, and that would be role reversal of, you know, what the norm is.
I'm not saying it's gonna happen, and I don't.
No, I understand.
I don't think it happened, but I just thought the father's approach to it being like, "So," and then after I explained to him,
he's probably like, "Oh, I've taught her well. I taught her enough that she knows not to do this or not to do that." So
after I explained my point of view, he was like, "Well, I could see your point on that, but you know, we're just a local gaming store. It's not like she's gonna leave my site." I'm thinking to myself, okay.
Yeah. Well.
And back to the original story with that girl that used to hit on me in that group. She did it in other games too. Like when we played Vampire the Masquerade, her character was always involved with my character somehow, as like the master-slave relationship type thing going on with the vampires. So at one point I thought there was something going on, and she was like, "Oh no, I'm just role-playing." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, all right." You way threw me off on that one.
Well, that's like I said, that's I've saw that a lot at the vampire LARP. Would always be the, you know, "Oh, this is my sire," and then it turns into, "Oh, well, we're just hanging out." And as soon as somebody was just hanging out, you knew how that was going to end.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I've had it with the boyfriend and girlfriend. We started the campaign. They weren't dating by the end of the campaign, and you'd be so damn surprised how cold that place got.
Yeah.
So you got to keep that stuff separate.
Have you ever,
game out of game. Keep it separate, kids.
Have you ever experienced a husband and wife that come to the game, and in the game they're like together all the time in the game?
Mm-hmm. No, not husband and wife. I have witnessed husband doing something to the wife in game, you know, being a jerk in game character wise, and she's given him heat later on.
Yeah.
And she's been like, "Well, I don't believe you would do that to me." And he's like, "Well, wait, we're playing." Yeah. No,
I remember they would this one couple used to be like, "Oh, we go over there. We do this." It's always we. Ugh. We. It's like, dude, you're not married in the game.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Well, can't we be married in the game?
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Your characters, you can do whatever you want. If you want to be married,
that's the thing. If you want to, I've had people do it who weren't connected, and they played it, and it was great. The dynamic was fun. But, you know, a lot of people can't pull it off.
Have you seen the opposite too? Two people get together during the game and continue and then become like a married couple by the time you guys are done playing after a year or so?
Similar, yeah, something like that, where it was, you know, they started hanging out and talking, and then all of a sudden now they're together, and you're like, when they showed up together,
you knew that,
you know, at the next thing you're like, wait, what? Or you showed up at her, she's hosting the game, and you show up there and your friend's already there, and you're like, "When'd you get here, dude?" And he goes, "Oh, I slept over." And you're like, "Wait, what?"
Or
What? He did what?
Or it's like, "Oh, let me just go brush my teeth," and he goes to her bathroom.
Yeah, and you're like, "What?"
Huh? Wait, when did this happen? Oh, and he goes, "Oh, I always bring my toothbrush with me." Yeah, sure you do.
Yeah, of course you
It's
do.
in your back pocket every time, right?
Yeah, but that's whatever. Just don't interfere with the game. I don't care what anybody does in their personal life, man. You guys want to do whatever. You guys are furries, be furries, do whatever you want to do. I don't care. Don't interfere with my game.
Can we be bronies in the game too?
You what?
Be bronies in the game?
Like the little fey creatures?
No, not brownies. Bronies is in My Little Pony lovers
bronies.
that are guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you want to do that in game, that's great. But
Okay.
don't ruin my game.
You know, they have a whole like Pathfinder game based on My Little
Yeah,
Pony.
it's Pony Finder. Yes, I have seen it.
I saw that like the other day, and I was just like, I wanted to vomit everywhere.
I wanted to get it and give it to somebody, somebody who I know would appreciate it. But then I know they would be like, "Oh, you got to run this," and I won't do it.
Sal, were you looking in the mirror when you said that?
I didn't want to say yes, but yes.
All right, I think we've overextended this mini mishu, as you call it.
Yes, miss you.
Mishu. So that's the end of the show, and Blurred Lines. Have a good one.
Peace out.
The Roll for Initiative podcast is a production of Wild Games Productions in association with D20Radio.com. You can visit us at rfipodcast.com or contact us on our forums at osrgaming.org or even by calling us at 570-865-4210. This podcast is produced for entertainment purposes only. All other uses are prohibited. And remember, if your magic missile spell doesn't automatically hit, you're playing the wrong edition. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Roll for Initiative.